Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kalika and you're gonna be a better person after watching this video. Parent asked if her child can borrow my Switch for a week as we sit in the lobby at a music school. Threatens to tell a teacher on me. I am a teacher. I'm 22 and on Monday nights I teach at a music school. My train gets me there about 20 minutes early, so I usually grab a cup of tea in the staff room and chill in the hall outside my classroom. Things are unusually quiet tonight and there's only a mother, entitled mother, and her young son, I guess around 4 or 5. Her son keeps trying to hide behind one of those standing poster things and the mother is gently scolding her son to get out or he'll topple the poster. She eventually drags him out, sees me, then walks him over to me. Entitled mother: "Look at what the girl has. You want one of those for your birthday, don't you?" The son nods and stares at me. I nod and keep playing. There's a pause. Son: "Can I play?" Me: "Oh, sorry. My class starts in a few minutes." Entitled mother: "Oh, that's alright. We're waiting here for another half hour. We'll give it back to you when you're done." Me: No, sorry. I won't be done until later." Entitled mother: "Can we borrow it for the week? We'll give it back to you next week. He's getting one for his birthday soon anyway." Me: "Sorry, I don't want to do that." Entitled mother: "Oh, come on. Your teacher would be cross if you try to bring that into your class. What do you think they'll say when I tell them how rude you're being?" I can only laugh at this stage. Me: "I am the teacher." The lady apologises, flustered, and drags her kid away. All in all, it wasn't very heated, but it's not the first time I've been treated rudely, only for an adult to backpedal when they find out I'm a teacher. I'm 22, I've been playing music since I was 5 and I do have a young looking face. I could pass for late teens, but I don't think I look that young. I would have loved to have seen the look on that woman's face, but I also would have been really tempted to just be like, okay, just go and tell the teacher then. Entitled parent hits pregnant wife, regrets actions. Just a touch of context, I'm not small, I'm 6 feet 7 inches tall and about 13 to 14 stone. However, when seated, I look a lot shorter. My height is all in my legs. My wife, however, is small, and I don't know, maybe it's the caveman in me, but I'm quite protective. What she says goes though, she certainly wears the trousers. Anyway, EP, entitled parent, LS, little jerk, her child, me, your host through this journey, and W, the woman of my dreams. This happened over the weekend. My wife is 6 months pregnant. She was one of those unlucky few that looked pregnant almost immediately. So at 6 months, she looked pregnant. Enter a nice walk to her favourite local cafe for breakfast. It's really early. She wakes up at about 5 in the morning and she wanted food by 7. I ordered the full English because I'm a man who needs manly food. My wife orders the same because F you, she's pregnant. We're having a nice chat about the show You, which is fantastic by the way if you haven't seen it yet. It just hit 8 AM, it's still dead quiet in the cafe, which is exactly how we like it. We're sitting outdoors in an uncharacteristically warm February. Along comes the little jerk. Little jerk is about 4 or 5 at a push. He decides to strike up a conversation with my wife asking why she was so fat. Already I'm looking at this kid like, the fuck? I'm looking around for some form of parent when I see a woman smoking a short distance away talking on her phone. My wife isn't made of cottage cheese, so she laughed and said it's because she's making a baby. The little jerk looked confused as hell. The talk about where babies come from had clearly not happened in this family. Little jerk is working this out though. You could see the cogs spinning in his tiny mind at 1,000,000 miles an hour, trying to work out how fat girl equals baby. He just says the word, how. I don't know how other people explain it. Some do the stork story, some say a cabbage patch, others say boning. Me, I'm planning on using this special cuddle because it's not exactly a lie and I don't want to lie to my kids. But I don't know what little jerk's own parents want to do, so I said, ask your mum, mate. Little jerk runs off with a grin towards the smoking woman. We continue to eat, chuckling at how strange a conversation that just was, when entitled parent enters stage left. Entitled parent: "Why did you tell my son babies come from women's bellies?" Wife: "Because it's true." Entitled parent: "That's not what I wanted him to know." Me: "Well, to be fair, we didn't tell him anything. He came to that conclusion on his own. My wife just said she's growing a baby." I'm already getting irritated by this woman. She has a "can I speak to the board of directors" haircut and a face like someone hit her with a number 25 bus. That's when little jerk hits my wife's bump. It came out of nowhere. I was stunned at what I just witnessed. It took a few seconds to register, but wife is already pushing the little jerk away from her. Entitled parent, how dare you push my son, he's a good boy. Wife, how dare your son hit my bump, you crazy witch. Entitled parent is rolling her eyes and sarcastically replies with the following: it didn't hurt, see? It was at this point I returned to myself because this mid-30s woman just slapped my wife's stomach. I have to intervene in the story here and apologise. I don't advocate violence against anyone. Hitting someone, hurting them in any way, it's not cool. That's my morals anyway. But my morals became suddenly absent. I stood up and this woman barely came to my chest. She took a step back and her little jerkbag kid looked like he was about to cry. I figure my height is enough to make this waste of blood and organs leave. Wrong. Trying my hardest not to break this woman's jaw, I simply said, F off. Big mistake. She exploded. Which was her mistake. She exploded, and so did I. Entitled parent, how dare you speak to me like that? She tries to slap me, but I grabbed her wrist, and I didn't let go. I squeezed and squeezed. She screams out that I'm hurting her, but I'm too far gone. I've seen red. The fact I didn't punch her is frankly amazing. Some people really do deserve a punch in the mouth, but I'm male. There's no way I win in this fight. My wife comes to her rescue and... Wife. Babe, stop. She's learned her lesson, haven't you? I let go of entitled parent's wrist. She's clutching it like I've broken her arm and she runs away from the cafe, pulling her little jerk son with her. I've never been so angry to that degree in front of my wife before, and I'm instantly apologising that she had to see that, but she's totally fine. If anything, she found it a little funny that she's never seen me angry in the 7 years we've been together. I obviously check if she's alright, and of course she's fine. We finish our food and head back inside to pay, when in enters 2 community support officers, an entitled parent and little jerk. She is screaming about how I nearly broke her arm and how my witch wife tried to attack her son. Community support come up to me and ask if this is true, to which I reply, yes, it's true, after she slapped my wife's belly and then tried to slap me. The CSO instantly has a look of, I knew you were going to say that, on his face. He turned to the woman and said, did you honestly expect me to believe a man and a pregnant woman came out of nowhere and attacked you and your son unprovoked, and for no clear reason? Entitled parent's face turns paler than a ginger girl's arse, then bright pink in clear embarrassment. CSO turns to my wife and asks if she wants to press any charges, to which she says no, she simply cannot be bothered. I don't know if she got arrested or anything, or banned from the area, and frankly, if I had no fingers, you could count on one of my hands how many Fs I give. Sorry in advance, I'm far better at telling stories when I'm not involved in any way. The writing must have been terrible. TLDR, wife's pregnant. Entitled parent slaps pregnant belly, I grab wrist and squeeze. Entitled parent gets cop calls her an effing idiot. I've definitely been mad enough to see red as well, so I can kinda see where this guy's coming from. I'll tell you a quick story. When I was 13 or 14, I was with my best friend at a school disco, and I seen the school bully basically trying to assault her. I ran halfway across the dance floor and pushed him to the ground and just started screaming at him. Like, my friends came over and started holding me back and everything, and I was just this little girl just screaming at this guy. But he did leave her alone, and ever since then, after school, he would just avoid me, and he probably thought I wasn't seeing. You will date my daughter, or I'll get you fired. Edit. Oh my god, thank you guys so much for the support. I was really not expecting this post to blow up like it did, but it happens. Love y'all, and shout out to Boo Duper for the silver, much love. So for some context, I'm a 17-year-old male and I work at a Segway Tour company. It's actually really fun. I get to ride Segways around the city and talk to people and get paid to do it. Plus the tipping isn't bad. So anyway, there was a tour booked a couple of days ago and I came in about 20 minutes early to answer emails and get everything ready. The group shows up, mother and daughter, and that's when things get interesting. I'm not going to insult your intelligence by telling you what EP and ME stand for, but D equals daughter and FBI equals the Federal Bureau of Investigation, just for some useful info. Entitled parent and daughter come in and I check them in. Me. Alright, I have some waivers for you to sign. Daughter, how old are you? Daughter, 16? Me. Okay, then you don't need to sign a waiver. I ask this because if kids are younger than 18, their parents sign the waivers for them. But entitled parent only heard me say the first part, not when I said daughter didn't need to sign a waiver, so she thought I was just asking her daughter how old she was. This was probably what started it all. We go on the tour and I'm giving my spiel. Entitled parent keeps interrupting me to tell me stuff about daughter and find if we're compatible. Me. And so this non-profit organisation opened in... Entitled parent, are you in college? Me, haha, no, I'm a junior in high school. I'm usually pretty free with info about myself on tours because it helps keep people relaxed and initiates conversations during lulls in the tour. Plus, it helps with tipping. Entitled parent, oh, daughter is also a junior, she's an artist. Stuff like this keeps happening throughout the tour, and every time daughter gets redder and redder. My mom does this too, where she just tells random mall attendants about me, so I know what daughter is going through and I feel her pain. At the end of the tour, I tell the two of them that they have 15 minutes to go around town and then they can meet me back at the Segway place. I get back and start getting things set up for their return. They roll in, pardon the pun, and I take their Segways to start charging them. Entitled parent, so what do you think of my daughter? Me, pardon me, what? Entitled parent, I saw you checking her out during the tour, are you gonna ask her out? Daughter, Mom, stop! Me, ma'am, I just recently got out of a relationship and I'm really not looking for anything right now. Entitled parent, what? Me, huh? Entitled parent, is my daughter not good enough for you? Me, no, that's not it, I just said I got out of a relationship. Entitled parent, you're gonna date my daughter and that's final. Me, you can't tell me what to do, I'm not your kid, and if I don't want to date your daughter, I don't have to. Besides, you haven't even asked her if she wants to date me. Daughter, yeah, I don't want to date him. Me, see? Entitled parent, I'm gonna call your boss and tell him about your terrible customer service. You're never gonna work in this city again. Me, pulling out my phone. Alright, you wanna call him and explain the situation? How you're trying to force me to date your daughter and get me fired for saying no? Then I guess the absurdity of the situation finally sunk in and her face transitioned from pure rage to slight confusion. Entitled parent, wait, maybe I don't want to. Me, no, let's call him. Starts to go through my contacts and press my boss's name. Let's have this conversation. Entitled parent, I don't think that's a good idea. Phone starts ringing. Entitled parent, daughter, let's go. Entitled parent runs out the door. Daughter turns to me and says, I'm sorry, and then follows her mum. I hang up the phone before my boss answers and start cleaning the Segways. I have some more stories from my work. Y'all tell me if you want to hear more. I really like the story just because of how absurd it is, but the FBI was mentioned at the start of the post, and so now I feel kinda clickbaited. Don't suspend my son even though he punched a kid for no reason. Longtime reader, first time poster. I work at a middle school. The school is predominantly lower economic status, which plays a role in things later, and the majority of the students are African American or Latino. I worked at the front desk. There was 2 boys that were walking and laughing through the front doors. One came into the office, victim equals V, to give me a note about how he was getting home. He was going home with the other entitled kid. And then as they were walking out, the entitled kid literally turns and just nails victim in the face. I was so shocked, and then to make matters worse, entitled kid went to do it again. He hit me in the face first, entitled kid said, looking at a teacher that was yelling at him to stop. LMAO, no he didn't. I finally snapped into reality and went to quickly separate the situation while my partner at the desk called for the principal. I was the one that saw everything happen, so I was the witness. Both parents were called, but entitled mum came up to the school. She told the principal that she wanted to talk to the one that saw everything and said she wasn't leaving until they do. The principal asked if I was comfortable with that, and I agreed. The mum accused me of being racist towards her son because he was African American and that the other boy hit entitled kid first. There's cameras, so I was confused what game she thought she was playing. She said, and I quote, "Oh, a violent situation happens? Look what the white person thinks. The poor little black boy is at fault." Really playing up the socioeconomic standing of her family. She then went and told the principal how they need to hire non-racist people, even going as far as demanding my job because of what I reported. The principal looks at me apologetically as entitled mother continues to scream at me how I'm racist and then walks over to the computer to pulls up the footage. Entitled mother sits there with a slack jaw as she sees her son go from laughing to randomly hitting the boy in the face. With no apology, she walks out of the school with entitled kid. And to this day, she still doesn't give me eye contact when she walks into the room. It was a very charged situation. My principal thought I handled myself gracefully though, so I guess it was okay. I mean, at least the mum had the decency to act ashamed and leave rather than some of the entitled parents who fly off the handle and escalate things even more, so I guess silver lining and all that. So anyway, that's all today for r/entitled parents. I really hope you did enjoy it. Of course, as always, if you do want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!